Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for us to kick off our shoes, put our feet up on the furniture, and remember why we are men and women in a free society that allows us to put forward ideas and concepts into the tubes created by Al Gore and later on by me while I was sleeping one night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Sunday Night Addiction. This is the Painting with Menoth John show. And in case you haven't guessed it, I am Menoth John. We have an amazing show lined up for you tonight. We are fast on the heels of a small tournament that took place in Warwick, Rhode Island this weekend. We're talking about TempleCon. We may be talking about the 4 weirdest days in Warmachine, TempleCon. But with us, we have some amazing guests. First off, we have, of course, the co-host with the most. We need to make sure that Not Brushhead Dave continues to not watch the show. So I continue to do that introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Spencer, say hello to the Brushheads.
Hey, Brushhead, how's it going?
Oh, I bet they're doing great now that we are past the introduction. So, Not Brushhead Dave, if someday you would like to watch the show again, you could just fast forward past that first 5 or 10 seconds there, and we would be golden. With us tonight, John, we have a fellow podcaster. We have with us from the amazing Bleeped Up Productions, as well as another podcast that goes by the name of Murder of Crows, might have something to do with Kador. We have with us Mr. Lee McAlpin from the UK, staying up late to be on the Painting with Menoth John show. Say hello to the Brushheads.
Good evening, Brushheads, or good morning, or good afternoon, or whatever time zone you're watching this. It is lovely Monday morning here in the UK, and yes, very late for me to do this, but it was a pleasure to do it, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're very excited to have you here. This is a big week, Lee. As you know, I am about to get in the big silver sausage and head across the seas to go with my girlfriend, Belinda Librarian. We're coming to your fine country. You know, we broke away from you guys a little over 200 years ago, but I'm making a comeback.
Yeah, it's, you know, you break away from us, but we seem to crawl you guys back in, or the other way around. I don't know. You know, we love America. America loves us. It's kind of interesting. We want to live there. You guys want to live here. It's a very interesting situation.
That's because you can be a total dumbass in your country and sound totally intellectual. You guys have the best accent in the world.
Well, that is debatable. It's true. I have to admit, whenever I've gone over to America, how many people's heads turn, it's fantastic. Most of the time I spent currently in America, it was in the South, so wherever I said something, most of the guys were like, "You're not from around here, are you?" And I'm like, heck no, I'm definitely not from around here.
You do that really well. You do that really well. You know, it's amazing that if Neil deGrasse Tyson speaks in a Southern accent, he literally sounds like he can't tie his own shoes. So, I mean, it's the most intelligent people in the world sound stupid with a Southern accent. Can't help it.
Well, we have those here in England as well, but we just overlook them, and we just kind of hide them in dark alleys, basically, and make sure no other foreigners see them. And we keep showing everyone that we're perfect and all those kind of things, you know.
Note to self, while in London, stay out of dark alleys. Noted. We got that one marked down. All right, so
There you go.
as you know, Lee, one of the first things we do here on the Pitting with Men Off John show, because alcohol does play a central role in our show here, both for creativity as well as focal point. We are the liquor machine of podcasts. We're not beer machine, we're liquor machine. So with me tonight, I have a shot of Kraken. What about you, John?
I have my standard.
The old. Did you get some decent pop to go with it this time?
No, still flat cherry Dr. Pepper.
Can I please send you
But
some
I'm
soda?
empty on that now, so
that's good.
I'll get some fresh.
That's good. And Lee, what are you having
Wow.
at midnight? Or whatever.
Well, now this is the thing. This is the scariest thing. I've recently started a crazy diet, John. You probably won't really understand it, but basically, I'm doing a diet of basically 2 weeks of protein. The third week is basically protein and fiber, and then the fourth week is whatever I want. So I've timed it perfectly for the SmogCon weekend, so I can make sure I can have some Kraken with you and all that jazz. Because I do love liquor. I love my liquid beverages, but unfortunately, I've just got water this evening because that's all I can literally have.
Well, you know something, Lee. We don't discriminate on that. We've had folks on here that don't drink at all, and we pity them, but we still drink. So. Here's to you and your dihydrogen monoxide. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
Hey, Ron.
No.
Lovely.
The other thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, that was a woo because it was a little strong.
Oh yeah, no. I just had a little bit of that there too. Kind of get a little bit of a burn there in the esophageal area. That was a big word there for the podcasting community. Esophageal. That means down your throat. Anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know it's that time of the show. We have to keep the lights on here at Painting with Menoth, John, because he can't paint in the dark. So the way we keep the lights on here, aside from Patreon, which you should go right here where my finger's pointing and get on Patreon and give me your money. Because without the monies, we don't have the hostings. And without the hostings, we don't have the podcastings. So, but we also have with us a very, very special guest. Hot off of her recent win at TempleCon, we have with us our spokesmodel tonight. You know her as Haley 2. She's a pole dancer. Here we go for Discount Games Incorporated. Hi. I don't always come off my pole to stop dancing, but when I do, I win tournaments because I'm totally fair and balanced. And the squire makes total sense with me. I take skill to play because I have 8 focus, or maybe 9, and I have a control area that's like the size of only Harbinger's got a better control, and I'm coming for her. I'll cut that bitch. Anyway, I'm here to tell you today to get on to Discount Games Incorporated, because if you want to be a winner, the only way you can do it is by playing Skilgar or Signar or whatever it's called. Because you just put me on the table and all the boys go running in the opposite direction. So, if you really, really want to win, and I know you do, because you're watching the Painting with Men Off John show, and nobody gives you better tech for winning than us, get on over to Discount Games Incorporated and order me and a couple of storm walls, and you just win, pretty much, you know. Or when that new one comes out, that new Colossal that has an arc node that they're going to talk about later, you can get on over there, and when it comes out, you can order it. And that thing's so goddamn expensive, you'll just be able to get the free shipping right away. So, also, all the models you get from Discount Games Incorporated look better when you're using Greenleaf terrain. Because if you're using some jacked up bullshit, forget about it. You want to get over to Greenleaf terrain. They're in Canada. That's like the UK light. So, you know, it's like being in the UK, but, you know, less. So, get on over there to Greenleaf terrain and order some stuff from him, and then order more stuff from Jay, and then get over to Patreon. There's some finger here, there, right over there, and support the Men Off John show. And yeah, I'm Haley too. I take all the skill to play. Don't forget it. Ah! Thanks, Haley too. I really appreciate you getting on the plane there so fast so that you could get over here and be a spokesmodel with us here tonight. Congratulations to whoever it was that won TempleCon, I really wasn't paying attention. There was Runes of War that was involved, and I got pretty excited about that. And of course, Sosha's all worked up because, oh boy, the Swans won again. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
So
Greg Harrison.
I'm sure he's don't please. If I don't remember your name, Greg, I apologize. I don't know you yet. I look forward to meeting you someday. I'm sure you're a terrific fella. You know, playing the game for 2 weeks and then winning TempleCon with Haley 2 was probably a thing. So, man, I hate her.
Oh.
Anyway, no, in all seriousness, congratulations. This one's for you. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
I'm probably going to get, like shivved or something at a tournament sometime. I hope he's not. I hope he's not. He's not in the UK, so I think I'm probably safe for SmogCon.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, what you expect? Most tournaments will start acting like the series of Oz, and as soon as you start playing different warcasters, you'll just get shanked in the back. It's like, you're using Haley 2 again? You buddy! And you're just like, I'm bleeding, help me. You know.
See, I heard you use the word Oz.
Well, speaking of shanks
and
Shiv.
shanking. Yeah, go ahead.
It's shivs.
So,
Shivs or
shanks
shanks?
and shivs,
Shivs, isn't it? Shivs, yes. Darn it.
I think you shank with a shiv.
Ordered the. Yes, indeed. I ordered the scraper, the seam scraper that everyone's been talking about.
Yeah.
So I'll have a report on that in a little bit. And
Oh,
it is
terrific.
definitely. There's no blade on it, but you can shank a motherfucker with that.
Okay. Well, see,
It has a pointy end.
There we go. John's now giving you survival handmade Blue Peter DIY weapons made for you guys out there too. If you don't like someone, you can go beat them to death with.
there you go.
You know.
And
Well, you know, when that annoying kid walks to the hobby store, sometimes you need to make sure he knows not to touch your models.
much
And they'd be
like
like, I didn't use a knife.
And-
I used a seam scraper. There's
and
no blade on this.
and the difference between painting with Menoth John and the seam scraper is it has a point. Ah, yeah.
Well played. Well played, sir.
All right. So
Full circle.
all right. So we've had our spokesmodel come in and talk a little bit about here. I think that we would be remiss if we did not mention kind of the big deal that happened at TempleCon. Everybody waits all year to see what the heck the big the keynote's going to be all about, and because we love the brush heads, we're going to bring you right now the let me get this thing straight here. Let me hang on here. Let me go back to the face cam and let me come back here. There we go. And I'm going to expand this. There we go. The next generation of Colossals, ladies and gentlemen. Technology doing its thing for the Painting with Menoth John show. So, did you get a chance to watch it at all, either Lee or John?
I did not. Obviously, like I've said on my podcast and with most of my production stuff that I do on YouTube, I'm really a heavy casual gamer. I try to do competitive stuff, but then when I go to tournaments and they're like, oh, you played so-and-so, I'm like, who's that person? They're like, oh, he won this in 2000 whatever. I'm like, oh, that's kind of good. All right, sweet. I feel like really bad that I don't respect them, you know.
No.
But it is quite interesting when I explain the whole hobby to people. Like, you can play for America, you can play for England, you can play for your country in this, and they're like, but all you do is move models with tape measures and roll dice. I'm like, exactly. But hey, you can play for your country and respect that. That's pretty cool, hey?
Dude.
You don't kick a ball or throw it or whatever. It's just awesome.
Dude, people like kill each other over kicking a round ball with black and white pattern on it into a big square hole. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
whatever. Okay, so
I know.
we're going to take this not so much from the tack that maybe some of the other podcasts has, because we are hardcore casual here on Painting with Menoth John. And I think I have to say it like Macho Man Randy Savage from now on. Oh, yeah! And
Oh, yeah.
but we're going to talk a little bit about these from the terms of what we think they're how fun they're going to be, because that's really what this game is about. It's about having fun. So let's bring up the first one. And I have to tell you guys, I'm pretty impressed with the graphics job I did on this presentation. So I hope you get a chance to watch this. It turned out pretty good. So the first one up is Hurricane. Now, you can't think about this, Jack, without thinking about the Scorpions, I don't think. I don't think it's possible.
I actually go to Bubblegum Crisis, but that's because I'm an 80s guy.
Very good. Here I am! I should have cut it back to Haley, too, and see if she would have done a solo for us. Rock me like a hurricane! All right.
That'll actually be the best conversion. Create the hurricane and then just put E. Haley 2 or whatever on some speakers.
With a
That'll
guitar.
be amazing.
It'd be sweet.
With a guitar.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, or actually, the way she's posed, you could probably put like a little lighter in her hand, like she was at a Scorpions concert. It'd be super sweet.
Exactly.
All right. So, as we can see here, the one thing as a modeler and painter that I kind of took away from the whole presentation, and this is not, it's going to sound like a knock, and I guess it kind of is, because they're sticking to the same chassis. There's just not a lot of uniqueness to it.
True, I'd have to say that, yeah.
I mean, the Hurricane has got some interesting on each of these different slides that I put together. We talk a little bit here about what the difference is. Now, instead of having the big guns, which are pretty much the defender shots, we have the storm emitters, and these are POW 16 with a pushback type of a function. What are we thinking about the range on these? It kind of feels like a range 10 kind of a thing. What do you guys think?
That's exactly what I was telling guys at the local store. It feels like range 10. Depending on what other abilities it has, it might be less if it needs to balance for other abilities being really good, but range 10 sounds about right.
Yep. It's got that kind of a feel of when you apply a snipe to it, you're up to a 14 with a pushback. That's a very, very powerful ability.
Yep. Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you guys. Definitely, it's something that excites me a lot because obviously on the sashi of this thing you have those lovely. It's like you say, John. It's very different. There's no big defender guns. It's these huge balls of death, which just always remind me of that lovely battle engine, and it's just exciting to see like Signar's going back to some interesting, awesome things which Signar are well known for. So hopefully it'll be pretty interesting because. Hopefully, it will take that bloody storm wall off the table, fingers crossed, and we won't have to go against any filthy swans.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we did here because it's the three of us, and I thought it would be probably a good idea if we had maybe one more opinion on each of these different colossals coming in. I invited Bob Ross onto the show tonight. He's dead, and I invited him onto the show to give us a little bit of a comment on each of the different colossals. Not so much an interview, but as a comment. And, I want you, Bob, what do you think? If you were a Signar player, what would you tell a Signar player about this particular one?
Make it your friend.
He says make it your friend. So that's what I would say, too, is that you're going to want to look at this and really think about making it your friend. So thank you for that insight. And it was a little soft on that one, but... Bob, if you could speak a little louder as we go on, that would be really awesome. So we're gonna fix that here on the next one, I'm sure. But it'll paint up cool. A lot more of the old arcane blue getting used on this one, as the fists are going to be different and stuff like that. Now, one thing that was confirmed is this is going to be another box like the storm wall. It's going to be another full box. It's not going to be an upgrade kit.
Indeed. I'm hoping that means maybe they put the new ones in plastic to eventually switch the old ones over to plastic or something.
That's an interesting point. John, I hadn't even thought about that. I was kind of in the thought that this might mean something for gargantuans coming down the pipe, too. But we'll hold that thought for later on in the presentation. Let's move on to the next one here. Then let's move on to the Revelator. The Revelator, because we don't have enough stupid-ass names in this game. We decided that Revelator was probably something that we needed. I'm going to
they're
say,
getting kind of thin on names there.
As a protectored player, I'm going to say this has the best head of any Warjack we have in Protectorate. It's right there with the what the hell's the name of that? Sanctifier. The Sanctifier's got a cool head. This one's just a little bit cooler. It appears that they took the shield off of an exemplar errant and kind of bored it out a little bit and then stuck some pointy bits on it. I'm excited. I'm actually really excited about this one. I think it's, in my opinion, from watching the presentation, it's either going to be this one or the Retribution one that are going to be the two best of the new Colossals. And the reason I feel this one is that stealth denial right now is a big problem for our Protectorate of Menoth players, and I think the fact that this is going to provide something, and then those 2 cannons. Oh, I get warm in the shorts over those things. Those are clearly off of a Vanquisher, which means that they are not going to be inaccurate, and they are going to be 4-inch pie plates of death.
Maybe.
The design of them is exactly off the Flame Belcher, so maybe they're going to be 5-inch. Who knows? But what do you think about that one, Lee?
Wow, what can I say? A Colossal that can just ignore stealth scares me, because all the stuff that makes me, I've started playing a little bit more competitive lists, so I'm worried, and it helps Menoth out, though. That's the one thing that scares me more than anything, is what you pointed out, John, is like, like when the first Colossals came out, we were like, how are they going to change the game? And they did. And it seems what they've done with this second round is like, what does the faction need help with, and what can we give with them without being broken? And obviously Menoth struggle a little bit, but this helps them even more, which is just crazy. But I'm probably going to see it across the table, because a lot of guys in my local meta play Menoth, so I like it. He loves it. I'm worried that he'll going to buy it, so
I think that the nipples are going to shoot the things that the Spriggan shoots out to get rid of stealth, and I think that's how it's going to eliminate stealth. Is it's going to have the nipple shots off of the.
So it's basically going to have some sort of like signal flares, but more like rocket. It's basically of flares, because the Spriggan's very small compared to this thing.
Right. So I think that'd be better. So I'm going to say that. And
bigger is better.
John, do you have any thoughts on the Revelator before we move on? Before I ask Bob about it? Hey, John, you there?
Oh, no.
Okay, we may have had a little bit of trouble there with John, and we'll just kind of hang on here and see what things go. But for right now, we're going to carry on. Yep, he left, but he'll probably be back, so don't worry about that, Lee. For right now, let's ask Bob. Some may think that the Judicator was one of the less great of the Colossals the first time around. What do you think about the Revelator?
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Yes, you're right. I would say the Judicator was a happy accident, because the those rocket pods, when you put them with Ethiora, were fairly awesome. I'm looking forward to 3 4-inch auto-fired pie plates of doom off of this guy, plus take that stealth. Anyway, we're going to move on from there. And John was having some problems with his internets, and so we'll hopefully bring him back on here before too terribly long. We're going to keep forging ahead here now with something that you have probably a lot of interest in, Lee, and that is Victor.
Yes. Oh, yes. I am so... Well, when I heard they were announcing new Colossals, I was like, sweet, the Conquest does some great stuff, but there's some things that he doesn't do, and when they announced Victor and said stuff that he can do, I just kind of licked my lips and just started thinking, should I buy one of these and also field a Conquest at the same time? So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. And just that they said that the gun that's in between his shoulder pads is the size of a Jack itself was like, yes, that's what we do in Kador. Go big or go home, man. It's so good. It's really awesome, and I really like the look of the model. So I'm really excited about it.
I agree. I'm a little bit worried about the inaccurate, but I will tell you this, with those 3 different abilities that Siege Mortar can put out there, as a Judicator fan, I can tell you that that is less of a problem than one might originally think, because the ability to get those guys out there and set them out, it'll probably be at least a 4-inch, maybe a 5-inch pie plate, setting everything on fire. You are going to make some people very sad. What you're going to do is you're going to make people... It's going to shift the meta away from anything resembling single wound infantry. So I think more than any other Jack in this particular announcement, this really sets the stage for Privateer continuing to move that meta shift towards Jacks.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about. When I got into this game, my friends showed me all the concept work for all the Jacks and stuff, and I was like, so basically you have this kind of wizard warrior who runs these things and they fight, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, sweet, and I love that. And then when I go to tournaments and see, Battle Reports Online and stuff, I see more infantry than jacks, and I'm like, we've really drifted away from what these guys probably really wanted this game to be about, and seeing how big these things have become and stuff. It's just really exciting to see. Hopefully the meta will shift, because that's why me and Rich on the channel, we love playing more machines than infantry, and people just don't understand that. But it's like, it's called Warmachine for a reason. It's about machines, not about individuals. It's about machines.
John is back with us, by the way, so that is fantastic. Right, John? You're back?
Yes, I am back.
Excellent. You know what? We're getting good at having bad technology. I have to say that.
Wow, it's the internet. What do you expect?
Exactly,
Come on,
exactly. So Victor's a thing, and we need to ask Bob Ross. First off, before we have Bob's comments, John, do you have any comments on the Victor?
Blow stuff good.
Blow stuff are real good. So there's we got that from the creative director. So Bob, I know that very few people know this, but Bob Ross was actually a Khador player. Did you know that, Lee?
No, I honestly did not know that. That's amazing. That's like a new thing I've learned today.
So let's ask Bob. Bob, in seeing this and its apparent excellence, shall we put it? I dare say, call it excellence with these three different ammo types. What are your thoughts?
Isn't that super?
Yeah, you're right. It is super. It is absolutely super on Victor. So we're going to move on to the next one. And as soon as I figure out how to get back to the next, there we go. Sepulcher. Let's talk about Sepulcher for a second. All right, I'm trying to stay positive. Okay, really trying hard. I'm going to say something right now that is not positive. This is the laziest attempt at another Colossal I've ever seen. Now, maybe there's more here in these rules coming than I think there's going to be. It's going to be a pain in the butt. I don't have any doubt about that. But can we talk about this model for a second? There's a reason that this was the only model we saw that was completely done and painted. Because it's a freaking Kraken. It's a GDFA Kraken with, like, they left some of the original claws out in a car, and they melted a little bit, so they repositioned them. And then they stuck, I don't know what, they went and got some Necron bits and stuck it on the end of the tentacles. And then So here's my thoughts on the Sepulcher from the artwork that we saw from the presentation. I hope that Khador Jack, whatever it's called, Ruin, walks up and just beats it to death, because I have a real feeling that Ruin can take out a Sepulcher in one round by itself. Thoughts?
Yeah, fingers crossed, buddy. Fingers crossed. I know. For like I was going to mention before you said, John, I think the most exciting thing about this video for me was kind of doing a rewind and going, that's Ruin. I don't really care about this Colossal because I know I'm going to see it. That's Ruin across the table. That's freaking awesome. But no, one thing that my friend Rich loves is Mechanophrals, and I think they're a fun, awesome unit if you're Crix, because to be quite frank, they're just dead people that have been on the battlefield that have just been like, oh, okay, if we add a few bits and bobs to them, we'll get them walking. Oh, cool, they can fight for us, and they have giant fists. That's awesome. And I think this will see a lot more table time more than the original Kraken now, because I think constantly spamming out those things will be awesome. I think it'll benefit Crix, but like I said, I'm not a big fan of the model. I was more interested in the backside of Ruin more than the model. So sorry, PP, but I want to see more and know more about Ruin. Sorry, being a Khador opinionated person.
So let's just be very clear about this. Sepulcher was upstaged by the backside of Ruin.
Pretty much, everyone's more excited. I'm not going to be too biased about it, but I believe they're more excited for Ruin because of what's he got on him. What the heck is he going to do for Khador? And it's exciting to see a new Colossal that can spam troops, but it's more exciting to see a Jack that we still don't know the rules for, but he's the Butcher's personal Jack. How badass is that, just saying it? And he could actually be terrible. We don't know, but he's got the name. He's Butcher's Jack. It's going to be amazing.
You know what, Lee? You probably should be more enthusiastic. I don't think you get worked up about this crap enough.
I don't know. I'm excited. Well, if you watched episode 0 of our podcast, we literally, Nick and me went to town on Ruin and what he could do, and then obviously we've been giving little bits and bobs about the guy, and we're more and more excited about like what he could be. And they're saying he's the heaviest hitting Jack, and we're just kind of like, how is that? Has he got a powerful weapon, or has he got a ridiculous awesome mat and stuff? And it just brings out all these great conspiracies. And I don't think, a Jack or a Colossal even that spawns out Mechanophrals is going to get you more excited than that. Just saying.
Nope, I hear you. And I think we lost John again, but I know he's going to keep on trying. No, you're still here? Okay,
He's
good.
here.
All right, good.
You lost me, and I came back while you didn't notice.
Wow, that's crazy talk. John, any thoughts on Sepulcher other than, dead ass on Ruin?
They're getting lazy because they're like, no one's going to take a Crix Colossal anyway, so let's just have it do stuff and see if we can tempt them into it.
I can imagine the business meetings at Privateer where they're going, listen, let's be honest about this. If we don't keep the engineering costs down on this one, we are going to lose money hand over fist. So let's just do something really lazy and we'll be done with it. So anyway, let's put Ruin in there. That'll get the Khador folks all warm in their shorts. It'll be awesome. Anyway, we've already talked way more about this Colossal than it deserves. So let's move on. Let's ask Bob. Bob is a Khador player, and if someone were to hand you a Sepulcher in your hands, what would you do?
Just sort of let it bounce and play and have fun.
So you just sort of let it bounce. Okay, that's interesting. So basically drop it on the damn floor. Excellent. Oh no. Now this one's special. Damn you, Privateer. Damn you. Every time I'm ready to sell my entire Retribution faction, you do something like Helios. So let's talk a little bit about Helios and why I think he has the possibility of being one of the 2 best Colossals in this particular grouping. First off, he doesn't have a gun. Guns are notorious for being, how can I put this, balancing techniques. So if you have a gun, the way they make the rest of it kind of balance against it is they'll kind of kick down some of the other abilities of it by putting a gun on it. And a gun makes everything else on the Jack worse. And then Helios came along and it doesn't have a gun at all. No damaging gun. So you've got this thing called a tractor beam that basically befuddles anything it touches. And then you decided also to give it multiple force gate abilities. And then you put this engine off of an Airbus 315, a 319 on it. And so, if I was nuts, if I was on Muson Miami, I would say that it has a jump pack and that it's going to have leap. It'll be the first Colossal with a leap. Although, with a 5-inch pie plate, that would be the most useless leap in history. But I think it's really going to be amazing. I think this is going to be the counterpart to Hyperion in a Viros list, like what John was talking about. Now you've got some. It's going to be more of a support piece almost with ridiculous. It's going to be the hardest hitting Myrmidon yet, and I think also it's going to find a real home with Epic Ron. I think that this is going to be one that Epic Ron is going to have abilities that are going to tag team with Helios, that are going to it's going to turn it up to 12. So that's where I'm at. I'm scared I'm going to have to own one of these, and I do hope that they cast it better than they did the last one, because the castings on Hyperions were frickin' terrible. John, as another Retribution player here on the podcast, what are your thoughts? Oh yeah, by the way, I did say Ron, so hey, Ron.
Ron.
I said epic Ron. I should probably drink twice. Oh shit, I did it again.
Well, my guess is it's either going to be the best or the worst. There's no middle ground for it, because either they hit it right and it's going to be super great at what it needs to do and have a place, or they're going to miss the mark and it's going to be just bad. Yeah,
you could be onto something there. But I'm I'm having a lot of confidence because if you look at the initial set of Colossals and you look at how they grew with the Earthbreaker, and now as they've done more work, this company seems to be on a little bit of a power creep kind of a move, and I really think that Helios could be something special. Lee, what are your thoughts?
Well, Retribution. Where to start, really? I think for me, just my opinion. I don't want to anger John Spencer here. I don't think.
Good luck with all that.
I do not think Retribution suffer from jacks or for infantry. I think the one area that Retribution suffer in is Warcasters. I think if
What?
Yeah, John, just consider it. But you'll hear my argument. God, you'll hear my argument and you'll be like, okay, this might make sense. They're okay. Some of their casters are amazing, but when you look at as you're starting off as a player, for me personally, it's like you look at Retribution, you look at them, and then you're just like, man, these guys look cool, but they have no Warcasters that benefit everything. Like, if you imagine if Retribution had, say, a P. Kane or P. Irisk in their Warcaster arsenal, most people will play Retribution more because that caster would be amazing in that faction. But one thing... No, you say what you were going to say.
Well, yeah, what it is that they don't. There's a design flaw built into them, which is since so much of their stuff can ignore all your bonuses, they don't get bonuses to hit or anything. Mm-hmm. And yeah, obviously, if you fill that one problem, yeah, I would love an Irisk or a P-Kane, but then I gotta love P-Kane but.
Because you like nice things.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, is like the one thing I really like about Retribution, it seems, is their jacks. Their jacks are awesome. Who does not like flaming swords? Who does not like that? But like I say, like I honestly think this is going to be the most interesting Colossal because, like John says, it has no gun, and it's going to be quite awesome because who doesn't like attracting things to big fists?
So,
come on,
Lee, I have an answer for you. You know who doesn't like blazing swords?
Who?
Robeasts. Let me tell you, every time that Voltron pulled out a blazing sword, it was bad times for Robeasts. And I'm going to tell you what, there are no flaming swords on this particular Colossal, but there are flaming swords on Imperatus and a Phoenix, and they are amazing Myrmidons. So I think that we've already probably talked enough about Helios, because I just made a Voltron reference. I think that's really probably... but we need to get the opinion of Ye with the sweet afro, Mr. Bob Ross. Thank you once again for being a part of the show tonight. They described Helios as being an enigma, and I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
If there's a secret, it's practice.
It's practice. You think that the secret to Helios is going to be practice? That must mean that there's going to be a high skill cap associated with this particular Colossal, and I can't disagree with you. I mean, because you're dead, and disagreeing with a dead guy doesn't really do you any good. So let's move on to the next one. Oops, hang on. We're having problems here. Technical difficulties. Let's try this again. There we go. Prime Conflux. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. Conflux. We're talking about some cock here, and we have the new big cock in town. And we're talking about the Prime Conflux and of cock, and it has ionization servitors, which are electrical, which means they stole them from Signar. Thoughts? Not all at once, please. Everybody in podcast land loves dead air. I get that, but if you could all not talk at once, that would be super sweet.
I don't care.
Yeah, I could give a shit about this one.
I don't think Colossals. I mean,
I think what's really interesting about this is that John, as soon as we got to the cock, he started sounding like an inverter
Yeah.
or another one of the convergence robots. I think, John, we're going to try one more time to see if your spirit cell or whatever the frig they have jammed up their ass. Try one more time, John. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because for a while there, I had thought that you may have been translated into a mechanical body by the convergence of cock.
No, they don't make those big enough.
So this looks stupid, and you should not buy one if you're a cock player.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you said was perfect, John. This is why podcasting is amazing. As soon as you ask us the question, dead air, because we do not care about this. I think more people are more excited about the battle engine that's coming out for this thing more than this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simple.
I think we've talked enough about this thing. So let's ask Bob Ross. You've been a very positive influence on this show, Bob, and I wanted to. What would you think about a cock player? What would you tell them if they were considering purchasing a Prime Conflux?
This is your world, and you can make it any way you want it.
Yep, you're right. This is your world, and you can make it any way you want it. If you buy one of these, it's up to you. So good luck with all that, and you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss a $1.30 goodbye. See ya. All right. So, and then this happened. So we're at the end of this friggin' show, and here comes Ed Burrell, creative director, enormous tease, and he gets on here. If you're not watching the stream, this is probably my best Photoshop work yet, and he's rubbing his hands together. He's got kind of a smug look on his face. By the way, Ed Burrell is one of the nicest fellows you'd ever want to talk to. He is just a great guy, by the way. And I know that if you were to see this or hear this, he would take it with a grain of salt. But he is a fantastic fella, and he's rubbing his hands together because of Hordes. Now, here's a few things that we know. We're not getting another gargantuan. We're not getting another faction. So what Ed is rubbing his hands about is not another faction for Hordes. SmogCon, we know, is the next big thing. It's sort of the TempleCon of Europe. And we know the Privateer wants to make a big splash in their first trip to SmogCon. Lee, because I'm afraid that our good friend John has disappeared again. What are your thoughts? What do you think is in store? Oh, you're back. What do you think is in store, Lee, for Hordes at SmogCon?
Well, there's a list, but I'll keep it to two. A better Mountain King would be amazing. That'll be interesting. But the one thing I'm really looking forward to is just to see where they go with beasts. Like, what the heck could happen? And we were talking about it, actually, funny enough, on Sunday, because it's Monday here in the United Kingdom now, at our club about, like, what beasts could it be? And I was just like, would it be amazing if Scorn could just have a frickin' like Godzilla lizard or something? That'd be amazing. I wouldn't even care if it was crap. I would buy one so I could just have it on my desk. And then Chris, our local player, was like, well, actually, pulled out his glasses and was like, well, there's something kind of similar like that in the fluff. And I was like, that would be the shiz. That would be awesome. But hey, I don't know what could make anything better. I hope that I don't know, the Legion one's crap, the Circle one's crap, and everyone else that got shafted by their gargantuas gets a better going on this turn. And I really hope Trollblood's one is much better. My
money is with you. By the way, Lee, you and my 8-year-old son are 100% in alignment. He is thinking Dracodile big time. So, if Dracodile happens at SmogCon and is announced, I don't see there's any way that I won't be getting a Minions army, because the kid's not gonna let me. Honestly, a Minions army might be the only way I ever get to play Trolls again with my kid. So if I get him some Gators and there's a Dracodile in the way, I might actually get to play that game again. So, John, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Are you in agreement that we're going to be getting some new Hordes Gargantuans, or do you think there's something else up their sleeve?
No, I definitely think they're going to do more Gargantuans because the players don't see the Gargantuans as being worth it, and they want them to feel like they're worth it. They want to get ones out there that'll actually see more play. So I definitely see new ones coming out.
Yeah, well, I mean, anything that they announce at SmogCon, though, with Gargantuans is probably going to take a second fiddle to Pink Mountain King. I mean, let's be honest about this, because I'm going to be rocking the Pink Mountain King, and once PMK's in the house, everything else is back row. That's all I got to say is back row. So,
Well, that was the one thing, isn't it? Like, you look back at all the Gargantuans, the only talking point of all the whole Gargantuans book, man, the Mountain King got screwed. That's everyone keeps talking about. So now, with this announcement, hopefully there'll be one in there where they're like, holy crap, this might be amazing. Because even though there's some great war beasts in there, do not get me wrong, and, you know, they're fantastic, but it's like everyone, ever since they've been released, was like, man, if only the Mountain King was better.
well,
That's it.
you know, I've had a lot of fun with my Mountain King playing with Berica, especially. I think that PMK has got some game with the Berica because, you know, getting to Berica and only getting to hit him once means, getting to Pink Mountain King and hitting him only once, unless it's Crix. And we all know how fair and balanced Crix is. Then bad times are going to happen for him. But the Pink Mountain King likes him some stationary. We've talked an awful lot about it here. We're actually running quite late on the first segment, and we still have to talk about our hardcore casual topic. Quickly, Bob. I need you to. I know that we've talked about other things, and I know that just some final thoughts. Just what would you advise to the brush heads out there?
Wiggle the brush.
You're right. You just wiggle the brush.
Wiggle the brush.
Yeah, that's right. You just wiggle that brush, and everything will work out good.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip this over now. We're going to talk a little bit of hardcore casual here. This is our each week we're going to feature a new scenario as part of the hardcore casual movement. And you can, if you want to like highlight something, if you're on the Twitters, hashtag hardcore casual. By the way, it should be one word, hardcore, because I'm an idiot. It's two. Hardcore casual would be wonderful on Twitter. Lee, we're gonna feature a scenario that you invented, and I'm very excited about because me and PMK we're coming to this. It's called ColossalMania. Now, walk me through a little bit. We're on page 1 here, where we have the special rules and all that kind of stuff. I figured with you on the show, no one would be better to be able to talk about ColossalMania than you.
Okay, cool. So we'll start with how this all began. So me and my friends, growing up, we loved wrestling. Growing up, who did not like seeing Hulk Hogan go against Macho Randy Savage? Or The Undertaker continuing... I know. I was waiting for you to drop that in, John. Or any, like, amazing wrestler that you love, like Stone Cold versus The Rock or whoever. And we thought, man, what could we do which would be a ton of fun in the Warmachine community? Because, you know, you have these cool scenarios, but we were like, what could be amazing for colossals? Or gargantuous? You know, they don't see enough table time. What can be amazing? And then we found ColossalMania. That's the best way of describing it. It's basically putting all these guys in a ring and letting them duke it out. And it's such a fun, hilarious scenario because it gives, should we say, the players the opportunity to not just be like, okay, I know this caster is amazing with this colossal, it will work. It also has the outer interaction with the 3 other players with you because it's a 4-player scenario to have like, right, okay, you have a Storm War with E. Haley 2. Hey guys, should we all pick on that guy? Yes, awesome, we're in agreement. Us 3 are going for you. And you just have that outside banter as well on this scenario more than anything. So, where do I begin, John? Where do you want me to start?
What I'd like to start off with is the fact that because you bring a Pink Mountain King to this one, you're sort of like the slow kid at the back of the short bus. So I think you have a real advantage in that you will not be a target. But to be honest with you, to start with this all, let's just walk through the rules here real quick so that if someone wanted to set this up at home, how would they go about setting it up?
Okay, so what you do is you obviously play on a 4-foot by 4-foot board, as you would do with any other scenario. But what you want to do, guys, is first off, you want to mark out a 12-inch by 12-inch area from each corner of the table. This is going to be where your Warcaster or Warlock will be chilling for the majority of the game. But emphasize majority of the game. Then you're going to mark out a lovely 2-foot by 2-foot board in the middle. This is your arena. This is where your colossals are going to duke it out. But like I said, why are the Warcasters just casually chilling in this little area? Well, guys, as soon as your Colossal or Gargantua is dead, guess what? They're going to be thrown into the arena because everyone around them wants to see a Gargantua or a Colossal try and kill a Warcaster, or a Warcaster try and kill a Colossal or a Gargantua. So that's the basic rules. Is basically mark out a 12 foot by 12 inches by 12 inches even. Sorry, arena from the corner. That's where your Warcaster's being, and then you've got a 2 foot board in the middle. That is your arena to begin with.
So it's key to remember, Brushheads, that blood sports were invented in Europe, and that's why this came out of the UK. And this is well within the normalcy of, let's say, gladiator games in Rome or where have you. Now, one thing I would talk about, Lee, is that the picture that we see here in front of us right now is a little bit out of scale in that we have 12-inch by 12-inch, and then the C area, which is where your colossals will be, is quite a bit bigger than what one might expect. So we are going to see colossal on colossal action very quickly in this scenario.
Yeah, you will. You'll see colossals or gargantuas duke it out. But like we said with this scenario, this is where the outer players begin, because obviously, certain colossals will hit hard, certain gargantuans will hit hard, but maybe the player is like, man, I think everyone's going to pick on me. See if I can form an alliance with someone and then stab them in the back. So you've got this kind of really cool whole scenario outside of this scenario of like, man, are they going to come for me? Can I make an alliance? Should we duke this out? And it's basically you playing against the scenario within the scenario. It's awesome. So we've had so much fun.
So you've got diplomacy meets Warmachine Hordes.
Pretty much. You've got diplomacy meets big robots or big beasts punching each other in the face.
Now that's fantastic. Now I'm going to bring up the second page of this, and this is where you talk a little bit about the rest of the rules and things like that. It's a last man or woman standing kind of a thing. And you mentioned that they're in these, and Brushheads, we're going to make this available to all of you to be able to look at. And one of the things you mentioned is this was a Mark I. Have you made any changes to this scenario?
We haven't made any changes at the moment because the one thing we realized is when we've played this a ton of times, Hordes does get screwed. And the one thing we were debating with this...
Great. Okay. I'm bringing Pink Mountain King. I'm getting screwed.
But John, this is why. This is why. I'll explain this why. Because obviously, we originally tried it as Warlocks had basically the Fury or Focus. Instead of the Fury mechanic, they had the Focus mechanic. And obviously, their Gargantua, instead of having Fury, they had Focus. So as you can see on most of the Gargantuas, they have a ton more Focus allocation than actually a Colossal. And then when you bring into the battlefield when your Gargantua is dead, your Warlock has to walk in, and then they can camp armor up. That's great. But at the beginning of the game, if you take a Mountain King, for example, you can just wreck shop. Literally wreck shop before anyone else does. And then, we finally killed the Mountain King. Now we have to deal with that Warlock that's just unbelievable. Like, imagine Berka 2 or Borka 2 even, with the Focus mechanic instead of the Fury mechanic.
I know.
Look how much armor. Look how much armor that guy's gonna have. That is scary.
It gets me kind of warm in some naughty places. I have to be honest with you.
I know, that's it. So obviously, taking a Hordes thing in this matchup is a bit tough. But if you win it, you can brag because you're like, right. Sometimes you have to cut yourself to gain Fury back or whatever, or you can just chill with as much Fury as you're on and just figure out life, because what we've had when we've play tested this and other people have played it, they've had their Warlock has come in and then they've basically gone from each corner of the scenario to basically just avoid everyone to then, oh, wait a minute, now I can go in and destroy face. And it's been really interesting to be like, let's look back on that game. What did you do? Oh, yeah, you forgot about the Warlock. And you guys thought, oh, no, I can kill him later. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. You've got 3 hitboxes left, and he's pretty much at full health. Sweet. Goodbye. That's basically what has happened so many times. But this is why we like this scenario. And obviously, when we're at SmogCon and doing this, we're going to have suggestions how we can improve it and stuff like that, because this is only Mark I. This is kind of an idea we've come up with, and we want to improve it, and we want to just give it out to the community, because I think Colossals and Gargantuans don't really get enough love.
Well, this is absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate you sharing this with us. I've got to hang on here. I'm having technology problems here now. Oh, there we go. There you are. All right, so finally I've put the presentation away, and now we're back onto your smiling face. I want to thank you very, very much for presenting that. Now, Brushheads, this is something that you can very easily create in your own basement with your own models or at your local game store. Highly recommend this one. I'm looking forward to playing this a ton at SmogCon, Lee. I can't wait to get Pink Mountain King and try him with a couple of different casters. I mean, your thoughts around Berka are very interesting. Doomy 2 is a natural idea for the Pink Mountain King because of the wild aggression, but with everyone on the table being colossals, all of a sudden a Mat 5 isn't so bad. So
it is. That's the one thing we've really looked at. This is like how many people have taken competitive casters and got screwed over has been really fun. And like seeing old casters that don't get not a lot of love, and they're like, holy cow, he's amazing in this scenario. So, for example, I can plug this. If you go on the YouTubes and actually find my battle report that we did, we had a pretty much awesome matchup. You had me with the Conquest and Vlad 1. Yeah, guys, Vlad 1, pretty OP, not going to lie. Then we had Thagrosh with the Archangel. Isn't that fair? He dies and comes straight back. But the best thing about it is, because he died first time, Thagrosh comes in, oh, wait a minute, and then an Archangel gets placed. There's two of them on the field fighting for, like, the rights. How cool can that be?
Oh, that's
and then,
amazing.
Obviously, we had the Mountain King with P. Grim, which was really fun to see because, man, yeah, I'm not going to ruin it for you. It was hilarious. And then we had Menoth with, I believe, Sevi won with, obviously, the Judicator. And the fight between the Mountain King and the Judicator was possibly one of the funniest battles I have ever seen when we've seen this scenario. Guys, when you watch it, we play a dice game for a reason. The dice were hilarious when it came to that combat. I'm not saying. So that's what I'm saying. What makes this scenario awesome. It's like, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to punch you in the face. Oh, I didn't kill you. Okay, fantastic. I get to retaliate. Oh, I didn't kill you. Oh, let's go back to round 2. You know, it's really cool. I really like it.
Well, I'm very excited to give it a try. I kind of wish I was bringing Protectorate because I can think of Resnick and I can think of Efiora being able to bond with the Judicator and get 4 focus on it instead of the 3, and having Ignite. I mean, being able to bring it up to a 22 without even having a Choir on board would be amazing.
There you go.
Amazing. But I'm bringing the Trolls because I'm all about the Trolls these days.
Well, that's it. John, obviously, my friends are going to be there. And, hey, if you want to try stuff out, we'll probably have enough Colossals lying around somewhere to get people to play this scenario. And, you know, people can drop in, drop out because it's going to be in the Iron Arena. But It's just a true blessing to actually have that in the Iron Arena because I know, John, because I covered SmogCon last year. And now that, you know, it's a privateer press event, it's really exciting to actually, you know, this is their first shindig at taking over SmogCon, basically, and I can be a part of it, so I'm really excited about that.
You know what? It's always going to be the Smog Pit to me. So here's to you, Lee. Here we have a little Ron on that one. Hey, Ron.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Ron, I've run out of water, but never mind.
That's all right. Well, I know that John is continuing to have a little bit of problem with the internets. We're going to ask real quickly just some final thoughts from Bob before we say goodnight, because, you know, as a dead guy, he's got to get to bed early. I just wanted to thank Bob for being a part of the show, and if you had any final thoughts for the Brushheads, Bob, if this would be the time to say them.
Happy painting. God bless.
All right, thank you very much for that. Yes, happy painting and God bless to you, Bob. I really appreciate that. Thank you for being a part of the show. I think you're going to be more a part of the show than not. We'll be having seances during the pre-ramble, and if you want to hear the pre-ramble, the only way to hear the pre-ramble is to get on the Patreon right here and support the show. 50 cents, $1, whatever you want to bring. You know, I don't charge for everything that goes up on the Patreon. I do a lot of extra stuff that we give for free. And the pre-ramble audio is a freebie for Patreon members and only available to the Patreon members. So I am going to, believe it or not, actually paint something on my painting show tonight, Lee.
Wow. Fancy that. The name in the title. You're finally going to get around to doing it.
I'm finally going to get around to doing it. I'm going to get out the blue glove of love. And hang on, I got to rearrange my microphone now. So here this is something that the brush heads. I don't know how much you watch all the time. I know.
I do.
The brush heads look forward to seeing the blue glove of love. And here we go. There we go. You can actually hear it. And we're gonna get this up over here. And I don't know where John is at right now. And so John, if you're hearing my voice, if you could, I'm gonna just go very quickly. I'm gonna ping him on here and see if he's in the chat room. And see if, and Brushheads, if you'd like to help me out at this point, if you have any flippity bloops, now would be the time to flood the chat room with flippity bloops, because all the ones that were registered beforehand are now gone because John reads those. So I'm just going to type here, John, are you there? Although his internets may have finally given out completely. I'm going to go ahead and, this tonight, Lee, and thank God you're here, by the way, because doing this show solo sucks. Anyway,
it's kind of hard.
It's
kind of hard.
So right here, you'll notice that you'll need some run if you hear the blue glove snap behind you. That's right. This is a night troll, a much maligned night troll.
Nice.
And let me tell you a little something about the night troll. And I'm going to point it out here on the model. Is this section right here by the spines is one of the biggest gaps in all plastic models by Privateer. This is a bad deal right here. Oh, I think John just returned to us. Thank God. And what I did here is I did some green stuff here today, and I smoothed it out, and it turned out really quite well. The interesting thing about this particular tool, I don't know if you can see it there on the camera, but it has a hook on it. And what this little hook does is it's a flat bit on a triangle, and it allowed me to push into the sections that are kind of like little, almost like crystal parts on its back, and it made for a very compelling little bit of impressions. So I think it's going to turn out quite well. The other thing that I wanted to point out from a painting standpoint on this model is that I did the overspray method that you may have seen them talk about. Hi, John. Welcome back.
Hi.
The overspray method is this may look like it has been primed white, but it's actually been primed black. And then I came back over the top of it with white primer. So it's got a lot of natural shading. Now, the way that I do my skin on my trolls is I actually just do a series of washes on it. So as we do flippity bloops, I'm going to wash this model with the Azurman Blue, which is an old Citadel wash that actually is quite a bit darker than the Gilliman Blue that I had been using on most of my trolls. I want this model to be darker, more purple, deeper purple. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to turn out. Eventually, these spines are going to be pink. So I'm going to come back over them, and I'm going to bring the pink out on these guys. And we're going to have this very dark purple with pink on here for all of the eyeless sight and all that kind of crap. So it's going to be, I think, for being a model that I'll almost never play, I think this is going to be really cool looking. So, flippity bloop.
All right, well, the first one's from Miles Healy, and it's just a follow-up on a question. He did take his Gators. He's barely played to TempleCon, played 6 games, and he had a great time even though he went 1-5.
You know, that's a great flippity bloop, and I did reply to that one already, but I wanted the brush heads to hear my thoughts on that one, and he said as a part of that he had a great time playing each and every one of those games. He played against really good competitors and had a great time, and I told him, you know what, that sounds to me like you went 6-0.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And I my hats go off to Miles. He's a Patreon member. We love Miles, and I think that is fantastic that he took his Gators. Hey, Gators OP. How about that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Go Ricard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go Europe, coming over to our shores and showing us how to play this game.
Yeah,
That's
fancy
only
that.
fair.
Fancy that. Just saying.
There ain't nothing wrong
No,
with
it's
that.
exciting. No, it is. No, it's exciting to hear that though, because most tournaments, when you have people, some people get really discouraged, like with their first tournaments. They're like, "Oh man, I lost every single game and I hated it." I can tell you now, I did not do well in my first tournament, but I had such a blast because it seems that the Warmachine community is a pretty bitchin' community. That's a word, bitchin'. Yes.
Yeah, that's very Californian of you.
Everyone's really friendly, and I think Warmachine's one of these games, or Hordes even in your case, is that it's one of these games where you learn more from your mistakes than your wins. It's one of those games. It's so much fun, and I'm glad that he had a good time, especially at such a cool event like TempleCon.
Absolutely. John, your thoughts?
I agree 100%.
Yep. There's not a whole lot to be said about that one. Miles, fantastic job. Way to bring those Gators to prominence, and probably going to end up owning Gators here before too long, because if that Dracodile comes out or is going to be announced at SmogCon, I don't see any way that I'm not going to be buying one of those for Troll Chuck, so I can play my trolls. Because every time I want to play with him, it's like I want to play Baraka because he's smart. He's a good boy, and oh my God, is this turning out cool? By the way, this night troll is turning out super sweet, and it takes almost no time.
Sweet.
Anyway, flippity bloop.
All right, old one from Thomas Ranshaw, and I wanted to get this in before you went to SmogCon, since apparently I've been skipping it a lot, going further and further down the list. I didn't want it to fall into the upcoming Flippity Bloop special that we're going to make.
Yes, the Flippity Bloop special that you don't know about yet, Brushheads. Anyway.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm going to SmogCon, and it's going to be my first time at an event like that.
Yay!
So have you got any tips on how to survive the carnage?
3,
and he
2,
says,
1.
If he can get a hold of you, if you can get a hold of some, he'll bring some 50-year-old Glenlivet, and you can try a real drink.
Oh, well, getting hold of me should be no challenge at all. I'm going to be in the smog pit. I'm going to be kicking it real. I'm going to be down there with all my boys, and that includes you, Lee. And I'm going to be playing the casual tip the whole weekend, and you'll be able to notice me because I'll be wearing probably some Painting with Menoth John outfits. I'll have my I'll have my Brushhead logo shirt on, which is a gray shirt with the blue Brushhead logo on it, and then I'll also have I'll have all the T-shirts we've ever done. So the silly ass monkey shirt will be in effect. The Podfather shirt will be in effect, and I am going to be just sitting down there having fun, meeting new people, making new friends. I'll tell you, when I was there in Amsterdam here a couple weeks ago, and I had the opportunity to hang out with Neek and Sietzi and all the awesome guys there in Amsterdam. Actually, it was Leiden, to be honest with you, but they were. I have developed a real appreciation for the European meta because they are wonderful, wonderful people. And I know that by meeting you, it's only going to make it even a little bit better. So we're going to have a good time, and seek me out, and I'll just be sitting there with a sign with the that reads, "Hey, I'm Menoth John. I'm looking for a damn game." So come on over and let's have some fun.
Bring your Gargantuan or Colossal.
God, yes,
absolutely.
Let's get some ColossalMania in while we're in there. It's gonna be
yeah,
awesome.
Let's just get more of that. It's gonna be fun.
Flippity bloop.
So back to your 3, 2, 1. You were going to tell me.
Oh yeah, 3, 2, 1. The best way to survive a con, without question, is 3, 2, 1. What does that mean? That means you get at least 3 hours of sleep. Now, if you're 46 years old, more than 3 hours of sleep is frickin' critical. Okay, I'm just gonna say that's a young man's sport right there. If you're younger, yeah, 3 hours of sleep. 2, that means 2 meals. At least get 2 meals in your stomach over the course of a 24-hour period. There's no two ways about it, because if you don't, you're gonna die, and you don't want any part of that. And then 1 shower. Get 1 shower in. For God's sakes, cleanliness is next to godliness, and nothing is next to that. So get cleaned up. We want to play with you. We don't want to smell you coming.
That's why Febreze was made.
Oh, yeah, no. That's why soap was made, tough guy. All right, so,
oh, man.
So get in the shower. If you don't know how to clean up, I'm sure we can we can call in to Amsterdam and get somebody that can help you with showering. So there you go. Flippity bloop.
All right, Stephen Mitchell asks, is it a better idea to paint the runes on the Blessing of Vengeance shoulders before I paint the shoulders, or the shoulders before the runes?
Damn it! I meant to actually look at my Blessing of Vengeance before I answered this question, and because I had seen it.
I'll give the answer from one of our brush heads from Clippies.
Yep.
He says on indented stuff like that in a small area, he'd paint the model first, then fill in the runes later.
Yeah, I'm going to guess from Cliff's response, and that's Tadgo for those of you who are in the chat room. If Tadgo knows that it is indeed a recessed rune, or something like a retribution model where you've got the power nodules and the little things, you always want to do those last, because the cool way to do that is to make a relatively thin paint and then let it sort of, and what works really super sweet, and this is like super ultra high-tech painting advice that you only get here at Painting with Menoth John, is you mix your paint with 3 brush loads of water, 1 brush load of paint, and 3 drops of future floor wax. And you'll notice I keep a little bottle of it right here at my table. And what that does is the future actually it helps break down the surface tension. Now, I know I'm talking a little bit like Neil deGrasse Tyson right now. I'm talking a little bit of physics. But there's no black holes in this. Just so you know, there are no black holes in future floor wax. And the future is indeed not in this bottle. Because if the future was in this bottle, I would open this bottle and see what it held. But it's not. It's a floor wax for some reason. And you put that in there, and it helps everything flow easier. Because if you know the future, everything flows easier. So get it in there, just a couple of drops, and that allows the paint to kind of go into those runes, and it works really, really good. So I would recommend that. Any other thoughts on that one, John?
No, that pretty much covers it.
Okay. I added a little extra bonus technology in there, just because that's how we are.
Absolutely.
Anyway, flippity bloop.
So next is another one from Tadgo, and he says, "What are some of the places you plan to visit in London not related to SmogCon?"
Yeah, actually, this is going to be really important. There's so many things to see in London. I'm
intrigued to hear this.
Yep. Okay. So here's where we're going. Lean, you can tell us if we're daft. That's an English term, isn't it? Daft.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of bizarre, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll roll with it.
You'd have to be daft not to be doing some of the things we're doing. As you know, Belinda is very into her plants, so we're going to Kew Garden, and that's one thing we want to see. We're also going to do some very touristy things. We're talking about going to the London Eye and taking a little ride on the Ferris wheel there so that we can kind of get the whole view and all that kind of stuff. We are having dinner with a former American and now European all-star. That's Mr. Norbert Brunhuber. Him
with Norbert.
Him and Vilma are going to be going out with Belinda and I, and we're going to have a little double date, as he said. Now, if he expects to get any action from me, I think he's going to need to understand that I'm not that kind of guy. That he's going to need to take me out a couple of times at least if he wants to score, and so that's going to happen. And then I know that we're also very interested in doing some very touristy things. There's a friend of mine here in Racine that used to live in London for a while. She was in elementary school with me, and she gave us some wonderful walking tour ideas on the side. We're staying at the Knightsbridge Millennium Hotel, which is just off of Hyde Park, and we're going to be really, really interested in seeing. You know, there's some wonderful there's tons of wonderful museums in the greater London area that we're very interested in seeing. So we're going to make, those are some of the ideas that we have of places that we want to definitely go see while we're in London. Lee, do you have any other comments on things we may have missed when I gave this brief description?
It's pretty good. I'd have to say the British Museum is definitely one to go check out. That's a really good museum. Even, you know, my personal favorite, because growing up as a kid, dinosaurs was my life, so I would have to say the National History Museum. Go see that. It's crazy how like they have all these bones from all these dinosaurs just casually hanging on wires. I don't know how they've done it. You know, if they fall, God, someone's gonna die. But it looks awesome, and just that's a cool place. I would suggest one more thing that you haven't said.
Yes.
And I would say see if you can go down to Camden Town.
Camden Town. Okay.
Camden Town is kind of a really interesting area. It's basically like an international area, but trust me, when you go there, you will just, your jaw will drop. How it's just a mix mash of all different cultures that have moved to London, and it's basically kind of like a huge kind of like, I'm trying to think of words for Americans, like a swamp meet in a way, because it's just loads of like original, like you've got independent artists down there selling like artwork and like music and just clothes and stuff. It's really cool. It's like one of the places to go during the day, not during night, John. Do not go down there at night,
Okay.
please. Just go down during the day.
So what I heard was sketchy as hell.
It's sketchy as hell at night, definitely, Jesus. But you're American, you might just be like, they'll be like, okay, you're American, you're cool. Definitely when we went down there.
No, I don't think you understand our national image anymore. Our national image is, oh, he's American, kill the motherfucker. So, no.
I would say that. I would say Camden Town's a really good place to go.
My girlfriend is very international. She's gone to some very amazing places. She's been like to Jordan and Egypt and all kinds of. She speaks Arabic and does all kinds of stuff. She's a very talented lady, and
That's
but
cool.
this Camden Town sounds very very. It may be a way to
Camden
get me
Town
from
is
actually having
really
to go.
cool.
It may be a place that I can take her that will keep her from making me go someplace genuinely exotic, which I would be kind of okay with. So we'll keep that
Well,
one
Johnny
in mind.
might like it as well, because you can just go around the food court and just keep on thinking, oh, I don't know where to eat, and they'll give you free food to say, here, try this, come eat here, and you'll be like, okay, that's nice, but I'm not so sure. And then someone else will come over and give you free food, and then you can just kind of like wear another disguise and go through and get more free food, and it just like, it works. Trust me, we've done it when we've had like no money in London. It's been hilarious.
So essentially, we've nailed the Menoff John demographic as scavenger
Cheap.
of free food.
It's good. It's good. Hey, I do it all the time when I'm in London. It's fantastic. Although there is a game that I don't know if you guys will be up for it, but it was hilarious for me. The last time we went to London, all of us are big board game geeks, and I was like, hey, why don't we play the Monopoly game? And they're like, what's the Monopoly game? And I was like, well, we just get a day pass on the tube and we go visit every street on the Monopoly board in London. Why not? And then we actually rented a bike, because you can rent bikes. They're called Boris bikes because Boris is the London mayor. And we rented one of them for like a day. It was quite expensive, but it was hilarious. So we cycled around London, almost getting run over God knows how many times. But it was so much fun, like taking photos by like every single street and saying we went around the Monopoly board.
Okay,
And
you get the fact that Monopoly was invented for Atlantic City, New Jersey, right?
yeah, but it's fun that we have a British version, and it's very awesome. Just saying.
All right. Well, we're probably not going to play your. We're not going to play your Milton Bradley copied off our ass version of.
Okay, actually, all right. There's one other thing we can say. One more thing. Try to go to a shop that's called Harrods.
Yeah, I've heard of Harrods.
Yeah, and try and find the most expensive thing in there.
Okay.
Or just buy something to own a bag, because everyone goes in there and buys like a chocolate bar, even though a chocolate bar is probably like 50 pence or 50 cents for you guys. It will probably be like £2 in there, but they walk out and they go, I got a Harrods bag, it's great. But you can go in there, you can buy anything. You can like literally walk in and go, oh, I want some caviar, and they're like, well, we have this £3,000 caviar if you want that, and you're like, blimey, heck, that's crazy. And it's just crazy to just walk in there and just see how many people are either wearing dead animal fur and all this other stuff, and just crazy. So interesting. London's such an interesting place.
Well, I'm very, very interested in getting there because nobody wants to see dead animal fur and people who spend £30,000 to get a paper bag more than me. So we're gonna have a good old time. Flippity
That's
blip.
good.
All right. From professional troll Mike Bond, he says, it doesn't make me a bad person if I tell people getting into Warmachine Hordes not to buy Legion because they suck.
First off, I'm not sure we have a show without Mike Bond. Do you realize that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure this show exists without Mike Bond. So anyway, no. Any way you can dissuade people from playing Signar or Legion is totally Hoyle with me. Signar is an opportunity to be a bad person, and we always want to make sure that our friends are not bad people. So there's nothing wrong with that, Bonzi. Good job, well played. I hope that Zosha heard that, but she's probably still gazing into the eyes of JVM, which means that she's not seeing nor hearing anything right now. So, what are your thoughts on that one, Lee?
Legion. I don't know. It depends, like, the looks of models. Like, we discussed it on our first episode, well, our second episode, we would say, Beyond the Battle Box, when we talked about why did we play Kador, and I said I just saw the Butcher and I knew I had to play Kador because that model looks cool, and just when people told me a little bit of brief story about him, I was like, this guy's a psychopath and they still keep giving him army? Heck yes, I want to play a guy like that. That's amazing. And just like it depends on the game, because it's like you obviously are attracted to certain models. Legion has that kind of alien kind of look, and it's dragons and stuff like that. And you could just basically say, hey, you could play Legion, and there's some great models coming out. The Blight Wasps and loads of other cool stuff. You could play those instead of the competitiveness.
Oh my God, that'd be such
Legion.
good advice. Play Blight
Exactly.
Wasps. Just play lots and lots of Blight Wasps. That's awesome advice.
Play Blight Wasps. No, I'm like I said, it's
50
like
points
it's down
of
to the
them.
person. It's always about models. Like, if I could go back and do it all over again, Kador is really awesome, but I just like the look of Scorn due to the fact that one of the first ever comic books I ever read was 300, and all the stuff I see when I look at Scorn, I just automatically like, holy crap, this is like reading 300 before seeing that movie. That's right, guys. Read the comic book. Comics are way better than movies. And
especially Frank Miller Insane Comics. Nothing beats
Oh
a
my
good
gosh.
Frank Miller Insane comic.
Yep.
I could say something about that, but we don't have time for that kind of thing.
Nope. We'll just leave it at that. Flippity bloop.
We'll leave it at that. Flippity boop.
All right. Stephen Mitchell says, do you think we will see any new casters in the new book or just new versions of existing casters?
I think without question we're going to see new casters. They don't do anything but new casters in books, and if there's one thing you can count on is at least one. I think they are all. I'm going to call it here because here at Painting with Benoth, John, we are all about breaking the news. I called the fact that Minions were going to win TempleCon at least 4 weeks ahead of time, and I'm calling it right now that we are going to see Epic Ron. The entire book is going to be epic warcasters. There will not be a single new warcaster in the book. It will all be epics. And there will be epic Ron. It'll be epic Ashlyn. It'll be epic Durgan. It'll be epic... what the hell? Who's Kador going to get?
I'm not going to say because I would just enrage people.
Epic
So
Epic Zerkova. And
There you go. Well done.
and we're gonna get epic. Who did I miss? Let's see. We need a protectorate one. We should get epic. Oh Christ! Who the hell?
Fiora 3.
It's gonna be Fiora. Fiora 3.
Fiora 3.
Yep. We're gonna get two 3s, and it's gonna be. Well, maybe it'll be just her. So, because I don't know, can't think of anybody else. So yes. There you go. You've got it right here. This is a first call. We are the only podcast, to my knowledge, because I don't listen to very many of them, that have called this. It is going to be all epics in the new book. And if anyone claims otherwise, they are simply stealing our tech. So keep that in mind as you're listening to other podcasts who are pretenders. Yep. They are not Painting with Menoth John.
Copyrighted Menoth John.
That's right.
Done.
We are visionary on this show, and we are hardcore casual. So there you go.
So Stephen, the answer to your question is no. He thinks there'll all be new versions of existing casters.
That is absolutely correct.
That's sort of what he's asking.
Oh, what he said.
Unbelievable. I love it. You just want it to go epic. You're not thinking out the box of anything. Like, I'm praying for a Man of War Warcaster. That would be freaking awesome. Make Man of War's legit, PP. Come on, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to be you. Anyway, so there we go. Flippity bloop.
All right, this one's from Legionnaires in the chat room. Helios played Darkest Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon. Nope.
It's a video game available through Steam.
Nope.
Nope.
Sorry.
Got too many games at the moment to play.
Do you have to paint anything on your monitor?
No.
Nope. Sorry.
And since the game came out in the last decade and it's not Borderlands 2, no.
So I have ordered some games on Steam recently. There was an 85% off sale on Square Enix this weekend, so I got Tomb Raider Definitive
Nice.
whatever edition, all the bells and whistles edition, and I got Final Fantasy VII because I have never played it, and
Name drops.
so we're going to be playing that. Belinda Librarian and I are going to play that together. She wanted to play that together. So I don't know how you play multiplayer on that, but we're going to figure something out. We'll sit together at the
That's the
monitor
controller.
and snuggle, and it'll be awesome.
That's it. That's
There you
it.
go.
That's
Lots
it.
of snuggles.
It was a fun game.
Yeah,
It is. If you like that kind of game,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
amazing.
It'll be whatever it is. I don't give a shit. It's gonna be me and Belinda spending quality time together. That's all I care about.
Yep.
Flippity bloop.
All right. Well, Arky Dan asks, why did they make a new Zerkova model?
Because they're getting ready to make an epic one. Because they're ready to make an epic one.
Have you seen the other model? That's all I have to say.
Would you like some ice
The
cream?
other-
Would you like some
Would you
ice
like some
cream?
ice cream, or would you like to play with this, whatever you want to call it?
Do you mean the dildo
No,
of Kador?
she needed a new resculpt, just like Siege needed a new resculpt, because it just makes sense, because if you look at all the looks of like the Kador casters, who's the odd one out? Let's think. Zakova, because all of them look smug and ponce or amazing, and she just looked a bit out of place, and now she looks, smug and a ponce, so she's like full on Kador. It's fantastic.
Smugging a pants. I love
Yeah,
it.
come on, look at it. You've got Irisk. What is he looking? Oh, yes, he's like, oh, yes, you middle class people, unbelievable, And then you've got like loads of other people that just literally are just like, we know what we do. Shut up. They just got that. Andre. Look at Andre, for goodness sake. What a snob. Goodness gracious. He throws models in front of him so he doesn't get killed. That's all I have to say.
How bourgeois can you get, really?
Yeah.
About that bourgeois. I don't think it goes much higher.
Well, I don't know. I think she needed a resculpt, and I think with Ruin, I think it would be fantastic to see more Orgoth stuff come back, because Orgoth's kind of her thing, and I think she still has game, and I think, a resculpt probably, puts her back on the table, so I'm excited to play her.
Not for nothing, but the more Orgoth, the better. I think it's part of the lore that, while they've touched on it in the fluff, has not been. Whoops! Shit! Throwing my stuff all over the place. It has not necessarily been as highlighted in models as it could have been.
Yep.
I made a pink wash for these spines. This is step one on a very multi color, multi-step process to make these spines effing awesome.
Unbelievable.
All right.
It's gonna be very
We've
effing
got-
pink, folks.
Oh,
We've got
wow.
4 flippity bloops left
Yeah, that's
from
great.
2 different people, and one of those we're not going to answer because it's Bonzi, and it's even a little far for him.
Has he been drinking?
No, you know which one it was. He
Okay.
posted it real early on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that one alone.
We'll leave that one alone for now. We'll save that for another flippity bloop special.
Yeah. Every now and again, you even gotta
All right.
the guy that makes the show possible. Sometimes you gotta rail him in too.
Yeah. So he says, do you think there are Twinkies in the Iron Kingdoms? And if not Twinkies, at least ho-hos.
Well, we know there's ho-hos because Madeline Carbeau is a thing.
Dum-dum.
Yeah.
I am
What
capable
John
of.
needs to do is drop the microphone and walk away. Right
Hey, hey,
now. That's all
Ron.
he needs to do.
Ron.
Oh,
Man,
my
I'm kind of
goodness.
surprised I came up with that so so quick that way.
That was very quick.
Yeah.
That was good. But I think that's all that answer needs for that one. Let's switch to Arky Dan,
Yep.
who says predictions for Hordes announcements, which
Somehow-
we actually really covered already.
Somehow we're
Dinos-
looking at Arcadan for sanity. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's fair. So yeah, he's pretty much what we covered already. And then Bonzi has another final one here. This actually is a bit more serious.
No.
He says, have we read Name of the Wind? And if not, we should change that.
I have not read Name of the Wind, only because I had heard some negativity about that book as far as it's, haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to shake. But it is a thing, And I've seen Patrick Rothfuss on Tabletop. The guy seems absolutely legit as far as an individual. He seems like a really cool guy, and I think that I should probably read it just from the standpoint that to support the fact that he's a good geek. He's a high-quality geek. He's got a very epic beard. He's much in the same way that George R.R. Martin has an epic beard. Patrick Rothfuss also has an epic beard. But unlike George R.R. Martin, he actually writes books. And I should probably I should probably support Patrick Rothfuss in his actual writing of books. So, any thoughts on that, guys?
Well, I'm going to look into it. It's actually not too expensive for a Kindle edition, so I will keep that in mind whenever I get done my next series of books. And have looking for something.
I'm unfortunately probably not going to be reading it anytime soon because I read too many comics, and I'm currently going through a huge anthology of Conan because Conan is freaking awesome.
How old is Conan? That's the question.
It's just one of my friend's anthologies he gave me. It's like a collection. It's like as thick as my Bible that I own. And basically it's because I kickstarted the Conan board game. I was like, I want to know more because I watched the movie, but I never knew it was like more than a movie. So my friends were like, you need to read these. And I was like, okay, cool. And so now I'm slowly going through it. And yeah, why have I not been reading these books? They're so good.
Yeah,
Desire to know more increases.
Exactly.
Back in my childhood, someone just gave me a bunch of comics, and it was like all these Conans, and they were comics, but they were magazine sized, and there's just a ton of them. I didn't get a lot of coherent stories, but man, it was all really good stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there's so many comics out there that I can reel off so many to you guys to read, but you know.
Well, it's not like this is going to be the only time you're going to be on the show, Lee. So hang on to them.
Exactly.
And we're going to have you back on the show for sure, because you've been an amazing guest. Because a guest that has something to say is worth their weight in gold.
Thanks, buddy.
No, thank you for making an entertaining show. I'm painting this thing, and now I've got pink and I've got Scorn red on it, and it's looking like an absolute mess. But we'll see here. I'll apply washes to it, which is like the only way I make my shit look not horrible. And
yeah, make sure you have pictures of it later, because a couple guys mentioned they want to see it when it's done.
Yeah, right now it's very hard to see what's going on, other than it's got this red tongue hanging out of its mouth, and the pink doesn't show up worth a damn on the camera, unfortunately. Better pictures of it once it's actually done, but it's painting up stupid fast. Its claws are going to be green, this putrid green from Citadel from back in the day, because all my trolls have fingernails that are putrid green. So it's going to be green and pink and red, and it's going to be all kinds of awesome. So
that sounds sick.
Oh, it
sounds so cool.
Sick or sick to look at, one of the two. So it's 8:32. We should probably. Do we have any more flippity boops we need to cover, John, or should we move on to media?
No, we actually covered all but the one we're not going to cover.
Okay. So in the interest of covering things that we're not going to cover, I'm going to have just a little more rum, because I know Belinda will be excited about that. And I'm going to have a little more rum, and then we're going to talk very briefly about media. And then we're going to sign off for a couple of weeks, because I'm going to be in London at this time. But we are going to release a special after, we release on Tuesdays for Muson Minis. And so there will be an episode coming out. It'll be a Flippity Boop special that happened in the past, but we'll be releasing in the future. So in many ways, it's very important that it happens, because like Doctor Who is a very British television series. So we're doing time traveling. So in many ways, we are going to go see the Doctor Who experience, because both my girlfriend and I are both Whovians. And I'll be honest with you, I really should not be painting anymore, so I'm going to put on the face cam. So, in the interest of not having this model look like crap, I'm going to move that to the back burner there, and we'll paint more of it this week. But I will certainly take some pictures of it and try to do some honor to it, by not making it look like crap. So, John, you saw some movies this week.
I did. I saw two. One was one from my past that I thought I was going to like, but the first one I saw was everyone's favorite throw it on the DVD movie, SWAT.
Nice.
I just want to watch something. Hey, I'll watch SWAT because
Wow.
nothing can go wrong.
Wow.
I'm just
That's
humming
all I
the
have to
SWAT
say,
theme.
John.
I was just humming the SWAT
I
theme.
see it on cable and I'm like, I've got to put it in the DVD player. I'll just watch the whole thing because I hate commercials. And
Isn't
that
that
movie
super?
is so full of testosterone. It is amazing. Somehow it
Yeah.
rivaled the freaking Fast and Furious movies for testosterone. And
Ooh.
it's crazy. Oh, there are some scenes like SWAT's another one of those movies where it's way better than it had any right to be. Like if someone laid it out to you, like if I explained the whole movie to everyone, they'd be like, "That sounds dumb," but somehow it's just entertaining enough to keep you interested. Never dwells too long on anything that doesn't matter, and just boom, quick hitting, about the right length.
So
So it is the perfect popcorn movie, if you will.
nice. So I'm starting to hear what I believe is the beginning of a Two Shots of Kraken review.
I was going to give it exactly 2 shots of Kraken.
Nice.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
John, after 2 years of doing this, we now understand our own scale.
Especially with my penchant for mediocre to crappy action movies, and they all sort of fall in a similar range.
Absolutely. You know, John, we have a segment on this show that we do about once a month called the Painting with Menoth John Movie Club.
Yes, we do.
And you're mostly responsible for it. And
I am.
we this month was my month to pick the movie, and this month we are taking a suggestion from the Brushhead Nation, and we are taking this is on YouTube, folks, which tells you this is a good movie. This is the movie Robot Jox, Jox. Lee, I'm struggling to remember. You gave me the suggestion, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So this is Lee's fault. So if you have any
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's movie goals. That's all I'm saying.
contact Bleeped Up Productions with complaints.
Yeah, follow me on Facebook. Just spam my Facebook. I'll love it. Trust me.
It is. I watched it tonight in preparation for the show. I've got 20 minutes left, and Lee tells me that the ending is somewhat surreal. So
Okay, the ending is
don't give it away. Don't give it away.
unbelievable.
Don't give it away.
I'm not giving it away.
Okay.
I'm not giving it away. I'm gonna try not to.
The movie is so unbelievable you went completely blurry on us.
Yeah, I know. I did. I just realized that. It's like I've got drunk cam all of a sudden. Focus, please.
At least it's not me.
Never mind.
At least it's not me.
No, it's fine.
Welcome very close.
There we go. We're good. Really close to the camera.
Extremely. Anyway, so Robot Jox is the movie. It stars actually. I'm trying to. Did I look this up on? Hopefully, I looked this up on my iPad. I'm bringing it up right now. It stars. Wait, great. Why? Oh, great! I just shut off my iPad somehow. How is it I
Stars
could?
the guy who was the lead human in the old Alien Nation TV series.
Right,
Exactly.
and he's great. He does actually a really good job in this film, and there is sort of a lookalike for God, what's her name? Catwoman. What's her name?
New Catwoman or old Catwoman?
The movie Catwoman, the worst movie of all time.
Oh, Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. It's Halle Berry's lookalike, only not as quite as hot. And
No, not hot at all.
no, she's kind of hot. She's kind of hot. I mean, she just
John, just no, mate, just no.
she's kind of hot.
All I'm saying to you, John, is
kinda
we
hot.
all have seen Swordfish. We know how hot Halle Berry can be.
Halle
so
Berry's
just
pretty
saying.
effing hot. There's no two ways
Yeah.
about
I
it.
can't argue with that one.
Yeah.
Thanks, John Spencer. Thank you.
Hey, I own Swordfish. I actually enjoy that movie for the most part.
Swordfish
Did you
sounds
have
like
to
a
rewind it
euphemism.
several times? I'm just saying. Rewind it several times. Just be like, did
Rewind
she
it.
just do that? Did she do that?
DVDs. We don't rewind anything.
All right,
We
all
hit
right,
the
all right.
replay button. Replay button. That's what you do.
I've lost control of
What?
my own podcast. Thank you.
I know.
very
Sorry,
much.
Joe. Sorry.
No,
sorry,
no.
guys.
Don't be sorry. This show has no format, so it's okay.
Okay.
So, Robot Jocks is your assignment, Brushheads, for the upcoming. We're going to be reviewing this right after early March. Probably the first show after March gets here. Hopefully, God willing, the creek don't rise, ladies and gentlemen. Wait for it. It will be coming from the new Casa John. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the new studio. We will hopefully, God willing, the creek don't rise. We will be in the new studio broadcasting Painting with Benoff John. The first episode will be a movie club in the new house. So keep your fingers crossed. I've been approved for the loan. It's a matter of moving there. So we're going to get it done, and it is sweet. Anyway, so you saw another movie, didn't you, John?
I did. This is one I remember fondly. It's called Flight of the Intruder.
Ah, yes. I think I remember that.
Nostalgia's a bitch. It's just not. It's not as good as I remember. Holy crap!
So that should be a catchphrase. That's a catchphrase in the making. Nostalgia's a bitch. Oh my gosh. That should be one of your ratings for one of your movie clubs. That should be a rating. Nostalgia's a bitch.
Yeah, well, this is not going to get a great rating because I'm a little more critical of movies than I used to be, but oh my god, it has bad acting, and I mean bad acting. Like, if it wasn't for Danny Glover and Willem Dafoe, this movie would be absolute crap.
Wow.
Like, they put something into it. They make it watchable for acting. And Willem Dafoe's not on his A game, but he's not phoning it in. So, and Danny Glover, well, he's Danny Glover.
Yeah, man. What do you need? It's
Other
Danny
than
Glover.
Yeah. Aside from a couple decent action scenes, this movie is slow, occasionally boring, horrible dialogue. Oh my god. Someone wanted to go like, well, we want to have a somewhat poignant, Vietnam movie, like, why are we fighting, that kind of thing. But we also want to have a Top Gun with a different kind of plane. And then someone years ahead goes, why not both? Years ahead of the meme. And they put them both together, and it's not peanut butter and chocolate. It's
peanut
poop
butter
and more poop.
It's peanut butter and crap.
This just sounds horrific. This sounds so bad.
It's pretty bad. It reminds me of another movie that's very Top Gun-ish, and it's not as good as that movie. It reminds me a lot from structure and pacing and such as Stealth, the movie from a decade ago.
Gosh.
I remember that steaming
Danny
heap
Fox
of crap.
movie?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. Oh dear God, it's like that.
It is not as. It is worse than Stealth in my opinion, but a lot of that's because Stealth has better graphics. They were at least state of the art. This looks like a mid '80s movies, and it came out in '91. I'm like, oh, this is mid '80s. I looked it up. I'm like, '91. I'm like, oh, that's the graphics are
pretty
not
dated.
good.
Pretty dated.
So, yeah, it's not a good movie. It has some fun bits. If you can catch it for free or really cheap, I think I bought my DVD copy for $2. So, I mean, it's worth $2.
I'm so glad that you didn't spend more than $2 on it. If you did, I'm really, really sorry for you and your money.
Well, I bought it
Really?
at the same time I bought X-Men Origins Wolverines, but that's another story.
Wow, drop another bombshell, John. Jesus.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
I'm going to give this one a new low for an action movie. It's getting 3.5 shots of Kraken.
Holy crap! It's on
It's
on its way to Turkish Star Wars.
Yeah,
On its way. On its way.
Let's
Guys,
not
on
get
its
out
way.
of control here.
You haven't seen Robot Jocks. You cannot start saying
Oh.
these things.
Oh,
I
of
have
course.
totally
No.
seen Robot Jocks. I'm just not going to comment on it because
No.
it's been a while. I'm going to give it a fresh perspective.
No. Robot.
John. Nice, John.
I just got done watching Robot Jocks for most of Robot Jocks, and it will
The
not
end.
be. It
The
will.
end. That
w-
end.
Without the ending. Without the ending, it's not Turkish
seen
Star
the ending.
Wars.
You haven't seen the ending.
Yeah.
Hey, John, when you've seen the ending at SmogCon, I'm gonna do something, and hopefully you'll understand exactly what I'm gonna do. And I want to get it on camera.
I think I already know what you're gonna do, but I'll probably do it back to you, and that's fine.
Awesome.
So, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I need to have a ball of green stuff update. The ball of green stuff is now fully a nickel in size. This is due to the fact that I had to massively green stuff the Nitro, and I also had to green stuff all the bases for my Highwaymen and my Rune Bearers, or Rune Shapers, or whatever the F they're called. So it is roughly a nickel in diameter. So suck a Trebek. It's the size of that. So I'm bad at green stuff. So we're going to continue to use more green stuff over the course of the year. And if Charlie decides that I have to go into some kind of gators, then all bets are off because them effers need some green stuff. So anyhow, it's 8:45.
It is.
So I think
So one more thing to announce.
Yeah, what's that?
Our contest.
Oh shit! I probably should have I probably should have announced that earlier in the show, but I'll put it in the tags. Yes, we're having a contest.
That's right.
Holy crap, we're having a
gonna give you
contest.
A lot of time to do this. I figure we should probably let it run till like maybe the first week in April. That way we got time to announce it again.
Yeah.
Since we did hit it earlier.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea,
And what we
John.
want you guys to do is we want you guys to make up your best hardcore casual scenario. Whether it be 4 players, 3 players, 2 players, what. Make it up and send it in to pwmenothjohn@gmail.com.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect, John.
No.
And we're going to review
There will
them.
be a prize.
Yeah, there will be a prize. John, any idea what that prize might be yet?
No, I'm gonna get the local store owner to hook me up.
Okay.
I don't want to say he owes me, but I do a lot of stuff for him. He'll help us out. I'll get some sort of prize, and or at least I'll get confirmation of a prize, and then I'll let whoever wins get some say in it. That way, it's not something they can't use, because there's nothing worse than that.
Absolutely. And I want to thank John for coming up with this idea. This was something he proposed to me last time, just after the show ended, that we do something like this. We've had good luck with the Patreon so far. We'd love to have more of you join the Patreon, because we'll be able to do more of this kind of stuff. But this is just sort of our way of giving back. And I want to thank the Patreons. You know who you are. We're going to do a special where I try not to kill myself thanking the Patreons, because it's probably going to involve rum, and I need to make sure I'm not driving anywhere that night. And we're going to think of something, but it'll be very special and only for the Patreons. So if you want to see that, we're also going to come up with more Patreon exclusive content. So get over here and join the fun for 50 cents, $1 an episode. We're not going to you can set a maximum for the month that you give, so there's no risk involved. So just go ahead and get on over there. But John, great announcement on the contest, and we will be running that till April. We'll keep on running it here. So get those scenarios in, and between John Spencer and myself will review them, and we will certainly take a look at them. And we're gonna my plan for this long term is to bundle these up into a scenario book that we can get out to the brush heads, so that you have sort of a hardcore casual manual that we'll be able to work from. But the best that we come up with, the best that we come up with, is going to get a prize, and we will share that on the show. And the maker of that scenario, we will have as a guest on the show, and you will be a guest of the Painting with Benoth John show for the whole 90 minutes, and you'll be able to participate in Flippity Bloop and the whole 9 yards, and you will unlock Golden Double Special Epic Brush Head status. And nobody has done that yet. So
yeah, that sounds like something Street Fighter would do, just like super, ultra, mega. Just add more adjectives or words on the E before you actually say brush it.
The chances are that I will never remember what the actual level is, but it will be amazing. That I promise you.
Yeah.
So, if you would like double extra special golden mega ultra brush head status, send it in, and the best of them. And then, but please keep in mind that all scenarios submitted become property of Menoth John Productions, and we'll think happy thoughts about you when we do that. So anyway,
Wow.
but we'd like to gather them all up together and get them out to the brush heads in some way, shape, or form. So, Lee, thank you for being an amazing guest.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Thank you for having me, man. I'm really appreciate it. You know, like, and you know, John, we've had you on Dice Rage Live, and we've talked in Facebook and stuff like that. But it's finally good to, you know, be friends and be on a show. It's great. It's good.
It has absolutely been fantastic, Lee. It's been far too long in the making. You will be back on this show so long as you're like conscious and things like that, because it's like stupid o'clock in the morning.
Well, it's fine. I'm not going to the gym tomorrow because I played what's the word you Americans call it? Oh yeah, soccer today. So I've had my exercise for too much and rolled my ankle a horrible way, so I can't really run tomorrow. So more work on the ColossalMania board, which is always needed. So it's always fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We're gonna pot up the old music here that we're so fond of. Bob, I see that you've raised up the lid on your coffin one more time. Do you have anything else that you'd like to state here for the brush heads?
Happy trees. If there's a secret, it's practice. Happy little highlights. And I think we'll sign this one. Isn't that super? I'm glad to see you today.
There you go. Thank you, Bob, for all those words of wisdom. It's been a lot of words of wisdom. We're happy for you. Get back in your crypt. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Painting with Menoth John show. I am Menoth John. Good night, everybody.